started somewhere in my genes, I guess, because I can't remember being interested in anything else. I just couldn't help myself. There were lots of stories in my family about anything that I could get my hands on, that I could squeeze, or how do you say it, knead. Such as there were fresh white Wonder Bread mixed with milk, or birthday cake combined with baby oil. It all served the purpose of creating something. I'll spare you the details what happened with the nappies of my little brother. It all gave me a good feeling in my hands. It was exciting to use my hands and these self-made materials to make something. Luckily, my parents recognized my desire and bought me clay, which was less expensive than the other stuff. And so, working malleable materials with my hands has always been a very earthly, sensual and agreeable pursuit for me. And I'm gifted. Although I'm a much older child now, I still love the sensation of pliable materials in my hands. Whenever I'm painting, I work here, directly under this beautiful skylight in my studio. All these railings are extremely suitable for hanging my latest freshly baked creations. From below I look up to see which ones irritate me immediately and which ones do so at a later stage. Usually only one or two survive this critical process. I still have to learn how to judge my two-dimensional work though. Having made sculptures my whole life, I can read them easily. In the blink of an eye, I recognize quality, style, level, and so forth. That same quality eye for my drawings and paintings has yet to be fully developed. It's very pleasant to have such a big studio. I can exhibit my work for my own purposes, while there is enough space left as a real working area. Of course, there is a difference between loving to play with plastic materials and becoming a professional artist. But I was determined to keep going and discovered that there was something called an art school where you can learn more professionally how to work all kinds of materials. My education was based on classic drawing. Models, models and more models. Sometimes we went to the zoo to draw an animal, or we had to study perspective in churches. And then there were those models again. Thin ones, heavy ones, old, young ones. I found them all very fascinating. After 25 years of solely sculpting, I recently shifted my attention back to drawing again. I do that on location, for example at a dance school and at an Aikido center, places where I try to capture the human body in motion. This richness of visual language just jumps out at me. Usually I work on paper or cardboard, sometimes on canvas like this cello player. I'm very content with this one. For me it's very painterly. You can see that I tend to use the paint more or less as if it were clay. So it all seems to be coming together, my paintings and my sculptures. This is one of my more slender sculptures. She's wearing high heels. When I was attending the art academy, such embellishments were not allowed at all. They were perceived as being too vulgar. Naturally, there came a time when I had to get it out of my system once and for all. I made this sculpture a short while ago, and to be honest, while I was working on it, I could feel my probably already diseased teacher breathing down my neck. Eyebrows raised disapprovingly. Although I knew that I might be frowned upon for having the nerve to go against the academic rules, I have reached the point that I don't care that much what others think. And it was pretty amusing to keep myself busy with high heels, especially because I never actually wear them myself. Of course, sculpting is not a very secure way of making a living. I'm self-employed, somewhat like the milkman, but then he doesn't make his own milk. The advantage of the milkman is that he relies on cows for the milk. I am my own milkman as well as my own cow, which makes the story always a bit more vulnerable. Nevertheless, even though you're never sure about income, it's always very fulfilling and fun to make these things. Sometimes I think, why didn't I learn a real profession? Suppose I had graduated from law school instead of art school. My hourly wage would probably have looked quite different. But would I have been as happy as I am now in my work? At the end of the day, for me, sculpting is simply more fun. This baby is called Pilates, inspired by my Pilates lessons, and just recently broke out of the mold. I'm almost always happiest with my newborn, my latest creation. If not, it just isn't good enough. But when that egg has been hatched, when I'm satisfied with the finished sculpture, in that wonderful moment it's my favorite sculpture of all. And with every new sculpture I'm reminded that I am on the right track, that I do what I do best. Put quite simply, playing with clay keeps the doctor away.